Now we're talking about Keynesian economics, about how you can use the visible hand, or government in this case, to help kind of level out the flow of the economy so there's not so many big ups and downs. It's a little bit more steady, easier to ride out, so you don't have such bad times when the bad times come. So, one of the ways that we talked that they can do about that is stimulus, right? If things are bad, you can help, the government can give a stimulus, start spending money, and hopefully that money starts to multiply and help the whole economy become better. Let's talk about something else. Now, in order for a business to grow, they need money. Now, usually that money is in the form of loans or investments. That's how most businesses get their money to grow. They need somebody to give them money in order to build a new building or build a new factory or buy more trucks or whatever. They need to get money to do that. So, the government has what is called the Federal Bank, the Federal Reserve Bank. This is where banks get money loaned to them, so that it loans money to the banks. Now, whenever you borrow money, you have to pay what's called interest on it. Interest means that you're going to pay back more than you borrowed, and that's how the people that lend you the money make their money. So a bank will loan you money for a car. They may loan you $10,000 for a car, but in the end you're going to end up paying back $12,000 or $13,000 for your car. So the bank made $2,000 or $3,000 for loaning you the money. That's how they make their money. So the interest is that extra money that you pay to borrow money. Well, now if the bank can borrow money for 2% interest, but then it can use it to make 4% interest, that's a good deal. So it's going to borrow the money so it can make it. But the Federal Reserve has their own interest rate. It's the interest rate that they use, how much money they charge to borrow money from them. And they can switch their rate. They can basically make it whatever they want. They could say we're going to charge 1%. They could say we're going to charge 7 or 8%. They could say we're going to charge 15% if they want, although that would be quite a bit. So they can decide. Well, what the Federal Reserve does is it keeps track of these bubbles, or at least it does as best as it can. Remember this graph? Straight good growth and bubbly growth that goes along with it. So the Federal Reserve tries to keep track of the bubbles. Now, if the Federal Reserve thinks that the growth is going too fast and there's a bubble forming, what will it do? The Federal Reserve will raise its interest rates. In other words, it will make money harder to get. It will make loans and investments harder to get. So that banks or that businesses can't grow as fast. It will actually try to stop businesses from growing so that this bubble doesn't form and that it will pop. So in other words, the Federal Reserve tries to kind of stop it so that instead of going into a big bubble that's going to crash, it tries to make the bubble smaller. So the crash is going to be smaller too. That's what the Federal Reserve will do if things are good. If things are getting too good, they raise their rates. Make sure you understand that. That's going to be on the quiz, I'll tell you. If business is good, what does the Federal Reserve do with this interest rate? It goes up. So if business is going up, the Federal Reserve interest rate goes up too. Now, what about when there's a bubble down here? Or, excuse me, a dip, and things are really bad? And things aren't growing as fast as they want to. What can the Federal Reserve do? In this case, the Federal Reserve can lower its interest rates. Make money easier to get and cheaper to get. It makes loans easier to get and cheaper to get. It makes investments cheaper to get. So that that encourages business to grow faster. So instead of a huge dip way down here, maybe it's just a little dip that recovers quickly. So make sure you understand the Federal Reserve and the interest rate. What do they do if things are bad? They lower their rate to make money easier to get. What do they do if things are getting too good? They raise their rate to make money harder to get so the big bubble doesn't form. I guarantee you there's going to be a question about that on the quiz. So if you don't understand it, rewind, watch again.